Here to help sort all this out is Bob Cusack, the Hill editor-in-chief. So, Bob, what happens if Judge Moore wins?
Well, I think if Moore does win, and recent polls suggest he is in the lead, but not a humongous lead, then you're going to see legal battles. And I think it's a fascinating legal case that hasn't been tested in recent memory of the will of the voters versus what the Senate can do. And they can expel, or, as Secretary of State was saying, hey, we're just not going to recognize that if he wins, we're not going to recognize him as a senator. So without a doubt, I think this is going to be decided by the courts and probably the Supreme Court. Well,
and a lot of it will be decided by the leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell. Here's what he had to say most recently about all this. Take a listen.
He's obviously not fit to be in the United States Senate. We would hope to save the seat, and that might require a write-in, and all of those things are under discussion.
The big question then, would Jeff Sessions become the write-in vote? Would he give up his seat as the Attorney General of the U.S. in order to go back to Alabama and be the write-in candidate?
Possibly. I mean, he's had a rocky tenure as Attorney General, and the president has publicly and privately criticized him. And I think that if anyone could beat Roy Moore, it's Sessions. It's not going to be Luther Strange, who lost in the primary. At the same time, this could be a situation where you split the Republican vote, and then the Democrat, Doug Jones, ends up winning, and then Mitch McConnell is accused of helping elect a Democrat statewide from Alabama, which is unheard of.
I can only think of the stuff that's going on behind scenes, particularly with donors. In fact, Brian Schwartz, one of our producers here, just talked to associates of Adelson from Las Vegas, who's a big GOP donor, and apparently he is withdrawing his support for Steve Bannon specifically because of Bannon's support for Roy Moore. So they're having all these kind of undercurrents of this story.
Yeah. I mean, Bannon versus McConnell is something we're going to be talking about for years. Remember, McConnell is up in 2020, and Bannon is going to go after McConnell in a primary. So this is a big deal for Steve Bannon, and fighting the establishment is kind of just what he wants, and it's a fierce and ugly fight right now.
You know, right now, as we're discussing all this with Roy Moore, Senator Bob Menendez is in a trial in New Jersey, in Newark, New Jersey, for bribery. These are more than just he said, she said accusations. There was enough evidence to bring this case to trial, and Menendez is now a voting member of the U.S. Senate, and yet they would try to strip that right of Roy Moore, even if he is elected, based just on accusations about something that happened 40 years ago. If you're going to kick Roy Moore out, why keep Menendez in?
That's an interesting question, and that's what the Republicans have been saying, that they want to get Democrats on the record saying, okay, if he is found guilty, then he should withdraw. But at the same time, Democrats privately, they know that there's an incoming Democratic governor. So as long as Menendez can make it until he's sworn in, then it'll be a Democratic replacement. And that's if Menendez is found guilty, and that remains to be seen. But without that, remember, Menendez is up for re-election next year, and he's not a popular figure right now.
And the prosecution lawyers revive those accusations that he was dealing with underage hookers in the Dominican Republic years ago. So that is now being raised, another accusation. They denied it, but now the lawyers are bringing it up again, prosecution lawyers. So you have accusation of things untoward to minors.
Yeah, and this is, remember, these charges were not filed under the Trump administration, and this was filed in the Obama era. And this is a problem for Democrats who shouldn't have to worry about a seat in New Jersey, but they might have to if this thing is not settled by election time.
Bob Cusack from the Hill. Good to see you, Bob. Thank you very much.